When this fight was put to you, did you have the same reaction as all the fans, where you think, "Oh, this is a banger"?
Yeah, of course. Like I just did an interview right before this, and the first thought that comes to mind is the fire emoji. Once you see this one, and if you look at the comments, all the posts, there's a million fire emojis.
Is this the sort of fight that gets? I mean, look, you're always going to be motivated to train, right? You're always going to train as hard as you can. But when is one that you know is this could be 15 minutes of absolute back and forth carnage? Does that get you up in the mornings? Does that give you a little bit of extra spice?
Every single fight does, but 100%. I'm bringing my fucking A game. This is his opportunity. He's coming to fight me because I'm the ranked guy and I'm the one that's defending my spot again. So all the pressure in the world is on me, and that's how I like it. I feel like I thrive when the pressure's on.
So when you look at the fight, are you anticipating that carnage, or do you think, hey, I can see things that people aren't seeing, and I can get this guy out of there perhaps with a bit more ease than people are anticipating?
Yeah, absolutely. You never really know exactly how it's going to go until the first exchange goes down, but I do completely agree with you.
You mentioned about fighting, he's coming for your spot, right? It's not something we see too often in MMA these days, people willing to fight guys coming up from below them. What is it about this fight that made you say yes, or are you just one of those guys that are like, look, you put a name in front of me, I'll fight the guy?
My last fight, I defended my spot, and so I expected to get someone in the top 15. They gave me this matchup, and I was like, is there nobody else? And they're like, everybody else is booked up or hurt, so you can either wait a little bit or take this one. And I was like, you know what, this is a fucking awesome matchup. Going into my last fight on my deal, I think this is a good one to put a stamp on it.
Yeah, that's interesting. Silver lining though, right? If you have a great matchup like this, even though the guy might not be ranked, if you have a great performance against a guy and it's just a great fight, then you can get propelled up anyway, right?
100%. I feel like we put the rankings are cool, but then they also kind of fuck you a little bit where you don't want to fight guys behind you. But at the end of the day, if you make a highlight reel out of a guy, whether he's fucking 1-0 in the UFC or top 5, a statement is a statement. It doesn't matter really who it is. You see guys that get these crazy knockout wins and they're on ESPN for fucking forever. You see like I can't think off the top of my head, but you know what I'm saying? Like you make a statement win, it doesn't necessarily matter all the time who it is against.
So the rankings are bullshit, is what you're saying?
Yeah, not necessarily bullshit, but they're a little funky. They're a little funky.
I would agree.
They make things a little more complicated than they need to be, honestly.
How do you see the fight going off? Give us a prediction.
Oh, I'm getting my hand raised. I'm finishing this one. This one's going to be finished.
Awesome, thank you.
Shane over here. There's not a lot of New York representation on this card. I think you're really the only guy. Dwight Grant, I guess, grew up here back in the day. But what does it mean to you to be kind of the guy that's holding down the fort in front of your hometown crowd?
Yeah, this is my house. This is I'm the only one. It's a little weird. I feel like maybe they didn't know that they were going to be in Long Island because I feel like there's a shit ton of fighters from Long Island. You got Law MMA right down there. You got a bunch of teammates that live over here. I'm surprised that I'm the only one, but I'll take that on my back and I'll represent for New York.
Yeah, I know you fought in the state obviously before in the UFC, and I guess does that add any pressure, or is it now that you've done it, you fought at MSG, it's kind of like...
Yeah, I'm already 6-0 in New York, so this is going to be 7-0. I'm going to make it a clean sweep.
No doubt. And I guess, can you just talk to me about what you're expecting out of this matchup from Charles, and kind of, is there anything you've seen maybe in his game without giving away too much that you feel like you'll be able to take advantage of?
I know what to expect to an extent. I mean, he comes with the jumping kicks, the crazy, the big punches. He comes forward. He likes to throw heat. As much as I know what he's going to do, you don't know exactly what he's going to do or when he's going to do it. So, but I do see some holes, and I do see things that I'll be able to exploit Saturday.
As Oscar said, this was a matchup when it was announced. Everybody was just like off the wall about how violent it seems like on paper. Where do you feel like Charles ranks in terms of like the violent guys that you've fought? Is he up there in terms of action?
Yeah. He's definitely up there. He kind of reminds me of like a younger Cub Swanson. That's the kind of vibe I get right there.
I like it. Thanks, man.
No problem.
Shane over here. Obviously you mentioned New York, 6-0. This is your 7th time fighting here at 14 events in New York State. So 50%. Nice job.
Thanks. It's pretty cool. I didn't even realize that.
You're used to it now, but is there any sort of extra baggage that comes with fighting at home?
Not really, honestly. It's more laid back, if anything, I'd say, because I literally drove here. It took me a while because of the freaking Long Island traffic, but other than that, I mean, I can go back home if I forgot something. It's fucking awesome. I just pack my car up with all my shit, and I don't have to worry about, it's going to be way too much to check in on a flight or anything like that. It's way less stressful, and I feel like I have my best performances in New York because I'm so laid back on fight week.
Do you get any sort of extra excitement, extra aggression maybe comes out because you do know you're at home, you do know there are fans who know you directly
Yeah.
and they're here just for you?
Yeah, I think the crowd's a little bit louder at New York too, especially for me. So I feel like that gives me a little bit more oomph when I'm out there.
Thank you.
No problem.
Shane, are you gonna have a lot of people coming to this fight for you, like a lot of fans? Like, obviously, you've got roots in the Bronx. You're also from, I guess we could call it upstate New York now. But I mean, how many people are coming, I guess, for you?
Oh man, I can't give you a definite number. I'd say at least 100 though. At least 100. I only live 50 miles away, and then I train like 30 miles away. So, and I have family that lives in Long Island too. I have a bunch of teammates that live in Queens, so it's gonna be packed.
Now, you went out a couple months ago to train with Josh Emmett, who, of course, you had that great fight with. How did that kind of come about? I understand they kind of reached out to you, right?
Yeah. So him and his boxing coach reached out to me and asked me if I'd want to come out and train, to help him with the Cater matchup. And at first I was like, former opponent, he beat me. I was like, I got a loss. I was like, sat back and thought about it. And I was like, you know what? Rematches are so fucking hard to get in this sport. And as much as I can give and help him, I feel like I can take and he can help me as well. And that's exactly how it went. I gave and I also took too. So it was an awesome experience. Emmett's a cool dude. He's a good guy.
Did you guys talk about your fight at all? I mean, it must have come up, obviously.
Honestly, it really didn't come up. No, it was very comfortable and we were chilling the whole time. No awkwardness or at all. He was an awesome dude, but we didn't even speak about that at all. We spoke about his knee being hurt, but we didn't really speak about the actual fight at all.
And when you went out there, you didn't know about this matchup yet. I think it was earlier, right?
I just got there, and like a day in, they were like, "Oh yeah," they started announcing it for like Paris and shit, and I was like, "Paris? I'm fighting in Paris." I was like, "I didn't even know I was getting this guy, and now it's getting announced that I'm fighting in Paris." And I was like, "I'm gonna just focus on the fucking training right now." So it worked out though because I got an idea of that I'm gonna fight him, and then I had a whole fight week camp out in California. Came back home and then just resumed the rest of my camp for 8 weeks.
And your brother was out there, right? He obviously just won his pro debut. What did he kind of get out of the experience?
Yeah, same thing. He was able to train with a bunch of guys that he was looking up to when he was 6 years old. He got to spar with Sage Northcutt a little bit and other guys like that. So that was an awesome experience for him. Gave him some confidence too.
Thank you.
No problem.
Hey, Shane.
What's up, man?
So myself and a lot of the Nelk boys, the Full Send boys, we're Canadians. And Charles Jourdain, he's our prospect. He's one of the brightest prospects we've had since GSP. It's been a bit of a drought for us as Canadian MMA fans. If you do get your hand raised on Saturday after the fight, can we come up, give you a handshake, and share a drink with you
Fuck
afterwards?
yeah, hell yeah. Let's do it, man.
Appreciate you,
I
bro.
appreciate that.
We saw your brother win his debut not
Yeah.
long ago. Is fighting the family business now?
Yeah, I mean, he's back there actually. He's 1-0 pro, 3-0 amateur. Should be fighting around September. Actually, my middle brother is a second-degree black belt too. He doesn't fight, but he works full time. But it's one of those things. Like I found MMA when I was 15 years old, and kind of just dragged them into it. My middle brother's 8 years younger than my youngest brother Ryan. He's 10 years younger. So I feel like I've been like guiding them into this career with me. I didn't push it on them. Like there was a time where they stopped training for a little bit, but then they came back to it because the kid's a fucking natural.
Is the goal to fight on the same card someday?
Fuck no. Fuck no. That sounds cool, like the idea of it, but like me being like, shit, he has to fight and I'm gonna go fight right after, that sounds terrible. I don't wanna think about that shit at all.
Hey there. I'm a neighbor. I'm in Washingtonville.
Oh, hey, what's up?
How does it feel being back home? And do you have plans at all for like training in California, or are you staying local?
No, in the future, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely plan on going back out there and visiting again, for sure. Take my wife and my kids out there. Sacramento is awesome. It's a really, really nice city. It's like a big town. Definitely want to show my wife and my kids out around out there, and then go back out there, hang out with Emmett, get some training back in with Alpha Male and all that. But as far as living in California, no, I can't live in California. That's too far. I got too much friends, too much family here.
Good fight, man. Thanks.
Thank you.
What's going on, Shane?
What's up, bro?
I'm not sure what part of New York Dwight Grant is from, but you're like the New Yorker. So when I looked at this card, I did see that there were no Long Island MMA guys, no other Tiger Schulman's guys, no Serra guys. You're the only one repping, so you're going to be probably the biggest fan favorite, other than maybe Misha, because she'll get the men will cheer for her, but you'll probably have the biggest fan reaction at the fight. Is that something that does that put extra pressure on you being the hometown guy against an outsider?
I really didn't think about that until you just said it now, and I'm like, shit, that is pretty cool to think about. Pressure, give me all the fucking pressure. I want the loudest pop. I want the most pressure. There's already so much pressure on me. This is my last fight of my deal. I'm going against a guy that's unranked. I have everything to lose and nothing to gain in a lot of senses. I'm thinking it the other way, but there's already a shit ton of pressure on me to have the performance of my career on Saturday. So if you want to add some extra noise, go ahead, add it at this point.
And then obviously Fight Week is always questions about you. I know you're one of the biggest fight fans in combat sports. Whenever you ask anybody from Tiger Schulman's, they're like, Burgos,
that's my shit.
ask Burgos about it. So your weight class, the conversation right now is Alexander Volkanovski. Where is he rank as far as the featherweight all-time greats in your book?
Great question. So I approach this a little bit different. Like, I can't call him the GOAT right now because just based off of title defenses and all that stuff, I got to say Jose Aldo is the GOAT at the moment because of the amount of title. I think he has 8 title defenses combined with WEC, right, and UFC. So you got to say he's the GOAT until Alex beats that. But that does not mean that I'm saying that Aldo is a better champion or a better fighter than Volkanovski, because I think Volkanovski right now is number 1 or 2 pound for pound. I think he's well on his way to being the GOAT at 145. But right now it's hard for me to say the 8 title defenses don't mean anything. So I got to go with Aldo.
And then I know you're a hardcore fight fan. That was my next question is Volkanovski's now getting the pound for pound conversation. Who is number 1 to you, Usman or?
You can fucking toss a coin between Usman and him. I feel like I almost have to say Usman, but he's right behind him. Realistically,
how many fights do you think you were away from Volkanovski?
I have to take it one fight at a time. I can't think, oh, I got to beat him and then beat him. I have Charles Jourdain Saturday at 2:30 p.m. He's my focus. He's my sole focus. After that, we'll go into the next one, and then we're just going to take it from there.
All right, brother. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.